Srividya Khanna. Srividya is the founder and CEO of Avaali Solutions, a Bengaluru-based digital solutions company that has enabled digital transformation for over 300 leading enterprises globally.
Yes, so I think as I was saying, you can either disrupt something or be disrupted by it. The choice is up to us. I understand that 95% of the room today is either practicing on your own or you are a chartered accountant. So I'm going to keep this conversation as relevant for you as possible. Hopefully, there are a few key takeaways from today's solution. From today's discussion that you will find relevant. So without further ado, let me give you some statistics. Since all of us are in the finance domain, I believe that you will add a lot of, value to some numbers. According to McKinsey, which has, recently published a report about, AI actually leads to about 40% of cycle time reduction, so productivity improvements, about 40%, and about 25% reduction in cost. And that's despite the fact that most organizations today, most large enterprises and mid-sized enterprises today have not really launched or not really gone live on production aspects of AI. Most organizations, a large sector of the organizations are still in the pilot phases. And despite that, this is the kind of outcomes that are really coming. Hang on one second. You want to keep it? Thank you. Can I continue? And, the other very interesting statistics is coming from the World Economic Forum, which states that by 2027, about 50% of finance tasks will be automated by AI. And we are in 2025. So the acceleration of pace of AI is growing at a significant momentum. And as a tech company, Avaali is a part of it. We have delivered some projects, and I thought it would be interesting to share my perspectives on this topic, which may be relevant for you. So, moving further, what is the need for transformation? I think finance has existed in a very, very strong way for organizations. I think the crux of every enterprise rests on how good its finances are run. The finance team is actually at the crux, at the core of every large enterprise, of every mid-sized and small enterprise. It's all about finance. We've seen from the era of calculators to the Microsoft and the Excels and accounting softwares, which is still going on at the current pace. It's still going on, right? But now we are in a completely transformative phase, okay? And it's going to be a fairly disruptive phase, if you will, from an AI perspective. If you look at the current challenges from a finance standpoint, there is a lot of manual, time-intensive business process. A lot of tasks within finance are still being driven manually. In fact, there is a study by, again, McKinsey, which states that about 40% of enterprise business processes of finance tasks are still being driven in a manual manner. And this constitutes to a lot of increasing cost of running that business process. Coupled with errors, potential errors in the process, it causes a lot of worry. Siloed systems, on an average, if you see enterprises, depending on the size of the enterprise, have anywhere between 7 to 14, and upper mid to large enterprise has about 7 to 14 different applications as a result of its legacy and the kind of growth that they have had over a period of time, inorganic as well as organically via acquisitions, and otherwise via organic growth. They have about 7 to 14 different applications which are siloed. They don't typically talk to each other. They're not fully integrated. And when data is required, when reports have to be generated, it's a huge task for the finance team to actually pull out the relevant data, depending on the time set, and ensure that the data is presented in an accurate, compelling, in an error-free, and in a timely manner. Okay, so that is challenge number 2 with the siloed and fragmented data. There's a demand for real-time reporting, and this demand is increasing massively over a period of time. You'll be surprised that, I was going through a recent research by, I think it was Deloitte, which says that 340% increase in terms of the real-time reporting, that is, 340 times increase over the last 3 years for enterprises in terms of real-time reporting. And this is something that, people are struggling with to provide the right data at the right time, generate the right kind of insights and reports, let alone derive meaningful insights from that report and predict what's going to be happening in the future as a result of the changing situation, both from an intra-company as well as from a global outside the company perspective. Complex regulatory landscape, I think this is something that all of us are dabbling with, where there are constantly changing guidelines in terms of regulatory guidelines, and that in turn resulting in increasing cost. There is a report by Bain which says that about 40% increases in 60% increase in cost over the last 5 years simply to manage this regulatory, guidelines, the increasing regulatory guidelines. So all of this, when done manually, it leads to tremendous amount of cost for running a business process. But it doesn't end here. There is a lot of requirement by organization and the leaders to basically generate information, and that there are two aspects of it. One, as we call the mind, and other as we call the intellect. So it's not only about applying one's mind; it's about actually deriving insights from the data that is in front of us, and the data not alone coming from our historic, enterprise data, but it is also emerging from the changing guidelines, the changing regulatory pressures, the supply chain dynamics, the changing customer behavior, the economics. I think there's a lot of multifarious things which are changing around us. We are all evidencing it even as we sit today. I was at the World Leaders Forum of ET last week, and the kind of optimism from an India perspective is palpable, but B, more from what we need to set out to do to make India as the place to be for enterprises is actually very compelling. So there are two sides of the coin. I think we've all been hearing, hey, are jobs really going to remain the way they are? What kind of is the future of jobs? There are reports, research being published on the future of jobs. There was a recent interview by, I think, NDTV, where Mr. Gurcharan Das was actually saying that we are going to be losing millions of jobs, A, led by technology, and B, as a result of all the tariffs and the supply chain dynamics emerging as a result of all of that. But it's not, there are two sides of the coin actually coming to think of it. One side is fear and the other side is opportunity. It depends on what side of the coin that we're willing to look at. And to me, I think the opportunity for finance today, I have not seen that kind of opportunity ever in my career. The opportunity for finance professionals to be relevant for the world of the future as is existing today, I have not seen in my entire career. And I'll tell you why that may be and what is the market opportunity that's available for all of us here in the room. And we'll discuss a little more about that. I know my time is limited, so I'm going to kind of keep it really crisp. I have, another 10 slides to go, but I'd love to have these conversations with you and maybe take your perspectives on that. AI is actually a game changer in finance. And like I said, we can decide for each one of us how we wish to view the world. But my humble request is that I think we should not miss this opportunity. So the first opportunity is that of automation, and one may think that, hey, I'm a finance professional, so how is this even relevant for me? Am I supposed to start learning technology now? Am I supposed to start learning coding? The reality is that technology is getting increasingly democratized. So today, if we, just as an example, right, even a child is able to do their homework with a chat GPT. Hopefully my fellow speakers will speak more about that, but technology is being increasingly democratized. The usage of technology no longer requires massive amounts of reskilling. Does it require zero reskilling? The answer is no, it does require reskilling, but it does not require massive amounts of reskilling, the usage of technology. And to be a part of this game, I think there are two aspects of this. When we look at automation itself of repetitive tasks, and finance has numerous numbers of repetitive tasks, there are two aspects of it. One is to write the codes or use the technology or decide what technology to use to automate those repetitive tasks. Okay. The second is really which tasks or which processes within finance to pick up for automation. The second part of this challenge is a far bigger challenge for organizations than is the first. Because today technology is available massively, there's no dearth of technology. There's actually no dearth of technology. So the bigger challenge that enterprises are facing is that, do I have the investments? Yes. Am I willing to invest? Yes. Do I have people who can run this automation? Yes. Are there subject matter experts? Yes. But the biggest challenge is, which processes should I pick up for automation? In what order of priority? That is the hard reality. Okay? And the difference between enterprises who are at the top quartile of this versus the rest is just getting this answer correct. And who better than people in the room today who are going to be able to respond to that question? I think all of us in the room today are the best people to respond to this question, because we have actually run this process. I mean, you are at the forefront of actually running this process. Then you are in a position to know the only thing that's missing, that's a missing link, is for you to actually understand a little bit about technology. Okay, and it does not really mean you understand coding, right? So as long as you get a broad understanding of technology, you will be in the best position to advise your customers on that. Predictive analytics, and that's going to be led by AI. Why? Because if you look at the way we are running, say cash flow forecasting process, for instance, okay, it's a lot of the data that goes underlying to it, or say even putting our budgeting processes together. There's a lot of data sets that goes behind it, but typically a lot of it is reliant on previous data based on insights that we are getting from interactions with the multiple stakeholders within the organization, the leadership team, the management teams, the heads of functions, and so on. But there are two things which needs to happen. One is to constantly keep that relevant for the future based on changing market dynamics, which is something that you need to keep running the wheel all the time, and the choice is to run the wheel the way we used to do it previously, or to really leverage technology for that, and to determine, say for instance, aspects of liquidity or working capital based on the changing market dynamics. And something like tariffs, which was never estimated, right, for instance, and what's the impact of that for, say for example, from a budget or forecast. And they're just coming, by the way, there are multiple other scenarios, including changing customer behavior, new product introductions, the innovations, the multiple things which emerge from both within and outside the organization. And so from a predictive insights and analytics perspective, the technology is able to do the job at a far better pace than probably human, which can do it to some extent, but what the technology will lack is certainly intelligence, and that intelligence and derivation of the insights from whatever analytics is predicts, or even to look at its accuracy, is something that each one of us are in the best position to do. Real-time decision making as a result of all the analytics, and compliance and fraud detection. And I think this is another huge area of interest for organizations, and there's a huge potential lying with a confluence of technology coupled with functional expertise as we look to automate processes with AI, and that being a real game changer for organizations. Looking at the benefits of AI in finance, efficiency, data, I think this whole aspect of data is lying at the foundation of automation. Okay, without data quality, automation is never going to occur in the manner that we sought out to be. So there is a lot of this is the other big opportunity in terms of data quality, data stewardship, data governance. And most master data within organizations are, since they are legacy, they are pretty dated, and they are prone to errors. So what technology will work if underlying data sets itself is incorrect? So this whole improved efficiency, data accuracy is one of the benefits of AI. One can actually run automation to improve data quality. Significant cost savings through automation. So on an average, we've seen enterprises gather at least about 25 to 30% cost savings as a result of automation, and at least a 60 to 70% cycle time reduction. Stronger risk management, fraud detection, and it's indeed a strategic focus for the finance teams, because finance is now going to be able to add a lot of value to actually helping business teams to run their business effectively as a result of not investing too much of time in doing all the manual tasks, having that automated, and spend more valuable time with respect to more strategic focus. I'll give you an example of a real life situation, what we did for Aditya Birla Renewables. It's in the green energy space. And they had two challenges basically in their procure to pay process. One was really around vendor onboarding, where they had farmers, they needed to take on land and automate the process of vendor onboarding even for farmers. And they were struggling with a lot of documents, underlying data. They had to do the validations of the KYC information of the suppliers. And all of that was being done manually. They were growing massively, they are growing massively as a business. So doing this process manually was turning out to be very cumbersome, relying on people, and they wanted to set up a shared services as well for that. And second, from the downstream invoice automation perspective. So they were running volumes, lakhs of invoices, which is something that they were doing manually. Okay, so recognition of that invoice, that coming in multiple formats, doing the validations of the PO, GR, invoice, line item, tax, quantity, price, XYZ, and then finding if this invoice is correct, and eventually looking at taking the posting all the way to their SAP ERP, was turning out to be a very long drawn and a very arduous process. So this is the process we took to automation with our product called Velocious, and the AI-led OCR. So there's a lot of change in terms of technology itself. OCR, for instance, capture technologies have improved a lot. So now you don't need templates for actually doing invoice trainings. Typically, what they would do is invoices come in multiple formats from suppliers. So how will a technology actually find out where is the PO number written there, or where is the invoice number, or the date, or the line items written there? Even though this is a two-decade-old technology, OCR is actually a 2-decade-old technology. But with AI now coming in, there are a lot of progress. There's a lot of progress with respect to the template, the possibilities of templateless OCR recognition. So that is what we kind of automated the end-to-end process. UI UX is a major part. So as you think about even automation for the finance function, one of the major areas is to see how the simplicity of UI UX enables lesser and lesser trainings for the business users. And that is again a very big possibility, because you work with in the finance domain, you work with the data all the time. So you would be in a position to see how the look and feel of the solution is going to be. So as a result of the UI UX, farmers were able to actually do the onboarding. Imagine farmers doing actual vendor onboarding using technology. So that was really the before-after scenario, which was a completely automated process with complete compliances built into it, and real-time invoice processing, reducing the cycle time of this entire process. On the right, it's a small print, but maybe you'll have the slides in your brochures, where there is a note by the CIO, Mr. Kannan Udayavarma, on his experience with this. Moving forward, so what's the current status of AI in finance? The use cases typically, and there are a lot of use cases that you can actually pick for automation. For routine transactions, your journal entry posting, recon, whether it's your vendor, customer, tax, GST recons, are beautiful processes for picking up for automation with RPA. Robotic process automation, which has seen the light of the day since 2016, and now moving forward into agentic AI. So looking at agentic AI, which can actually perceive information. So RPA can actually take on, it's a rules-driven process, so it can take on the different tasks and stitch it together and put together the complete automation. But with agentic AI, it's going to be able to perceive that information, take action, and also make decisions. So it will actually work like your agent. It is an extended agent. Think about it like an AP processor or a finance processor. These can actually be done with agents, which are AI agents, and that's something that's coming up in a very, very big way in finance. AI forecasting and scenario modeling. So looking at forecasting like we discussed in the previous slides, but also modeling basis numerous scenarios and determining what kind of outcome, what kind of impact those kind of scenarios may have, and as a result of that, what could be the potential actions that could be taken. All of that now can be done by AI. The AI pilots are running pretty well on this. You must have seen about ChatGPT and the recent launch and what it's capable of doing at a fraction of the cost. The beauty is that not only is technology evolving, but also the costs are diminishing. So there is an opportunity in leveraging this technology to actually run the process far more effectively. But like I mentioned before, there's also a huge opportunity for finance professional to be a part of this change and not really, be led by it, actually to lead it from the front as a result of the functional expertise as a huge opportunity. And real-time fraud detection. So what are the real barriers? I think somewhere, there's a lot of resistance to change. So, is it going to hit us? Yes, it has already hit us, and I think it's time for us to accept it. But it's important for us to embrace it and see how we can actually be leading this whole thing as a result of the deep functional expertise that each one of us have got. Data quality integration challenges, we spoke about that, the various applications within organizations, the APIs, the integrations, the underlying risks as a result of those integrations from a security perspective, all of that are, real threats to the organization, and skill gaps. And skill gaps is something that every organization should look to handle. Right? I'm moving forward to the future of AI in finance. These are going to be a beautiful confluence of three areas. One is, of course, emerging technologies, generative AI for financial reporting. So whether it comes to disclosures or whether it comes to, management level presentations or actually regulatory filings, there are numerous use cases where you can use generative AI for actually financial reporting. Agentic AI, we spoke briefly about that. Blockchain and AI integration to look at the integrity of data and to see what is the veracity of that data coming with a confluence of both blockchain as well as AI. Predictive and prescriptive analytics, so not only looking at analytics per se from the data sets, but also forecasting and estimating and predicting and doing scenario planning based on that. AI-driven compliance and regulatory adherence, as well as AI-driven finance ecosystem. So looking at a fully automated AI-powered finance function within an organization. This is actually the aspiration of most finance teams within mid to large size organizations. We interact on an average with about 80 plus enterprise customers, upper mid to large enterprise customers every week. And the conversations are really fueling a lot around how they can place AI in the entire journey. But again, coming back to my very first point, which processes to pick for automation, in what order of priority, and why should we really do this? Those are, million-dollar questions. And I think there is where there lies a very huge opportunity. Sample use case AI in budgeting. You're going to have these slides. I'm going to skip this, but I was hoping to present this sample use case. I understand there's limited time, so I'm going to skip this in the interest of time. There are additional use cases, so looking at document processing, for instance. So invoices, bank statements, purchase orders, all of the processing of unstructured content within organizations. Looking at workflow automation, depending on the DOA, COA. Internal financial reporting and analytics, account reconciliation, we spoke about that, journal entry postings. Even the task management during a month-end, quarter-end financial process or year-end financial process can be done with AI. Responding to internal queries, whether it comes to reporting and transactions and fraud detection, compliance monitoring, these are some of the use cases at a high level. But as you drill deeper down, you will find at least about 100 to 150 processes, of which we have made a library already. But given that you are so deep into this domain, you will be able to even identify the subtasks within those processes, which will be a beautiful use case for automation. Right? There are numerous challenges. Nothing is without challenges. Learning incorrect process. This is like a suicidal this thing. If the AI is going to learn incorrect, processes, and one error leading to another, leading to a compounding chain of errors, that is the biggest risk. And so at the design phase of the entire automation momentum, one needs to really design the process correctly. Sensitive data handling, so data privacy is certainly an area to be looked at. Now, compliances, of course, to be relevant for changing government compliances or internal compliances. Hijacking, we spoke about APIs and the challenge relating to that, API security, and orchestrating this whole thing to make it like a well-oiled engine. These are the likely challenges. Preparation is for each one of us to do. I think there is tremendous opportunity here. There is a changing role for finance professionals. I think, lesser said the better about it. It's time for us to accept that roles will change. The future really lies for all of us to actually be a part of this change, to actually lead it as a result of the deep domain expertise we've got. And looking at upskilling and reskilling, it's going to be a major part of the shift for each individual in the finance org. My final slide is on key recommendations. So for enterprises, for finance leaders, for finance teams, and for regulators. And there are a bunch of actions that each one of us can take. For enterprises, of course, the time has come for investing in AI, which they are doing massively, building a data-driven culture and collaborating with, of course, multiple ecosystem providers, including finance professionals and technology providers. For finance leaders, it's really about leading by example. fostering a culture of innovation and aligning AI initiatives with business goals, understanding what kind of processes to pick for automation. For finance teams, it's to embrace AI as an enabler, really not as a deterrent or a threat, focusing on value-added activities and staying up to date on industry trends. And for regulators, of course, there's a lot of work that's required from a regulatory perspective for data privacy, for developing governance rules around this, for ensuring that there are AI-friendly policies, and ensuring ethical use of AI in finance, promoting transparency and accountability. So these are some of the key takeaways. There are two things that I want to leave you with today. One is the real opportunity that exists that we should not ignore. The time for us to act is now. I think there is massive opportunity in this space, and this is a huge white space, like they call the blue ocean opportunity. This is the blue ocean opportunity for all of us in the finance domain. I leave you with that. Thank you very much for your time.
We now request CS Sri Raksha Madam to present a memento to Mrs.Srividya Kannan.
Now, please join me in welcoming our next speaker, CA Vikas Mandawewala.
Very good evening to all. And thank you very much for joining this session today. Not because you have joined this conference, but because you are sitting here in this room in the last session. This is the last session for the second day conference. That makes more comfortable, and that makes you more committed to learn AI. Okay. So we are gonna learn what you can do through AI in the coming session. Srividya has done a great insight for what you can do in the P2P segment and other AI in finance. I will cover some of the topic what we will be seeing today, and the next speaker, Mr. Ganesh, also will show you on the what exactly you can do with the GPT in your own system. So stay hold to this room. Don't go anywhere till the last of this session. Okay. So let me give you some insights. Do you believe what is the biggest revenue segment of Big Fours? It's not audit, it's not taxation, it is primarily the tech consulting. Okay. So we definitely need to embrace the AI and learn the AI, adopt the AI tools. The CA firms, the individual people on the job, the faster you adopt the AI technology, the brighter and the faster you will grow in your journey. The people who will adopt AI technology, they will be the leader for tomorrow. Okay. So whatever I am going to talk in the next 15 minutes, each and every slide, each and every point is very relevant and to the point to you, all of you, whether you are in practice or you are in job. So get geared for aligning and adopting to the AI. I have kept the topic name Building the Autonomous CFO Office of the Future. When I picked this topic, my vision is just to imagine how the self-driving car, when anybody talks to you about self-driving car, what comes to your mind? You will get into the car, you will put the address in the GPS, no driver in the car, and the car will take you where you want to go more safely than the real driver, correct? So now imagine the same thing when we talk about the CFO office of the future. Okay, it has to be an autonomous office where whatever is the finance function today, that has to run automatically. Okay, today what you are doing, the invoice comes to you on the email or physically from the vendor. Then you hand over that invoice to your accounting team. They will punch on the invoices in the accounting system, whether it's a Tally, Zoho, NetSuite. So most of the companies, I will say 90-95% of the companies, including the mid-sized companies, even if they have a SAP, NetSuite, and similar ERPs, they are still punching the invoice manually and you will be able to correlate that the accuracy level of your team, even if you have a smartest of the team members, it will be 70 to 80% when they are doing the manual punching of the data. There will be a GL code error, there will be a TDS error, and whatnot. There will be an error in the invoice number. Your ERP system currently will give a duplicate invoice error, and your team will put a backslash and move on. And they will record the duplicate invoice, and sometime it gets paid also. Okay, so all those things has to move away to automation, to AI. So let's look at how we can help CFO office to become the autonomous in the future. So the finance function itself is at a great inflection point today. Whatever we have been doing for last 20-25 years, trust me, everything is going to change, and that change is not far away. It's only a couple of years. When the ChatGPT was introduced 2 years back, okay, I still remember I went to Delhi to take some of the classes to learn ChatGPT myself. Okay, I used to fly, there was an 8-class course. I used to fly every Saturday, come back in the night. 2 years back, what I learned, it has completely changed today. Even 2 weeks back, I attended an AI master class. What I learned 2 weeks back, it has changed today. Even ChatGPT, every week, you will see they are releasing something or other. Okay, they are using ChatGPT 5 now. 2 weeks back, they released agentic AI. So within the ChatGPT itself, you can create multiple AI agents that can help you. As Srividya told, the software, the AI, the technology has become democratized. Okay, anybody today can use the technology with a fraction of the cost. What I tell my team, whatever tool the biggest industries have access, the same tool you have access. If Reliance has to use a tool in the AI, the same tool a small and medium enterprise can use, and it is highly affordable. Okay, most of the software in the AI, you can buy in $20 per month subscription. That is a paid tool, not the free tool. There, most of the tool has a free version as well, but paid tool also comes in the $20 subscription. So it is highly affordable, and just you need to learn AI, adopt AI, and use AI. So traditional finance function has been very manual and very repetitive, okay, and it has been reactive. You will take a decision, and it will take a lot of time for the data processing. But today, everything has to move fast. The investor wants faster result. The shareholder wants faster result. And if you as a finance function and you as a CA helping your team for the finance function has to wait and give results and MIS, all these things to your client at a later point of time, and being only reactive, let me tell you, you will be thrown out eventually. You cannot be reactive anymore. Clients expect real-time dashboards, and that is now possible with the help of AIs. So AI is no longer optional. Okay, it has to be adopted by all of us to move fast, and it will become the strategic advantage of the CA community. So modern CFO, what they are asking basically. Earlier, the CFO was used to be a compliance gatekeeper. Okay, you give the MIS to the shareholder on time and do the compliance and ensure in the audit no red flags. That era has gone. The investors, the stakeholders has a very high expectations from the CFO community. They want them to be a strategic growth partner. They want the CFO to give a real-time insights for growth, add value in growing the company, and not just being a gatekeeper to our accounting and compliance needs. Definitely by default, the expectation of the CFO today will be drive efficiency. Okay. I was talking to somebody this afternoon at our stall at outside. They have 20 finance function team, accounting team who are doing the data entry for the invoices for their client. Okay, and every day the team is sitting till 9 o'clock, till 10 o'clock to punch the invoices. Okay, and he was searching for some tool for last 3 months that the tool can solve the problem of their team. They can go home on time and bring efficiency and improve the accuracy rate. Okay, so that is all now possible with the AI. You just need to ensure that you are searching for the right tool. Now the compliances, again through AI, it will happen on a real-time basis. You don't have to wait for the month end to review whether your team has deducted TDS correctly, whether GST accounting, SGST, CGST, IGST has happened correctly or not. The AI will do all this review on a real-time basis. So you will not wait for the month end to do the review and burn the midnight candles from 1st to 7th to pay TDS and then GST and then whatnot. The CFO are expected to do the predictive analysis. What is the cash flow required? Okay. When we need the cash flow, and more particularly in the Bangalore culture, okay, with the startup culture, everybody talks about the runway. Okay, how much runway you have. So the CFO has to ensure that on a real-time basis, he is able to give the runway to the founder, runway to the investor, and arrange for more funding if required before you finish your runway. Okay, why AI is disrupting the finance now? Why not before? And why can't we wait few more years? Okay, so earlier, so AI has been there for long, but it was not generative AI. Okay, now the AI has been generative AI. I will not go much in detail what is generative AI, but it will do the self-learning and regenerate the data for his own learning and learn. Okay, so earlier if you talk about the say AP function, we used to capture the invoices and there was an OCR technology where you just take a photo and send the invoice and OCR will slice and dice the data and give you the data in a format. That was very, very restricted. If any new format will come, the invoice will get stuck. If there is a handwritten invoice, the OCR cannot read the handwritten invoice. Okay. Now with AI, everything has become possible. You give any format of the invoice. You take out any format from the world, give it to AI. AI knows how to read that invoice and give you the exactly the data what you need for your accounting. Okay. So why it has come now and why it is important now? Let's understand. So the data, the lot of data is unstructured format. Okay. Your ERP or the software works on the structured data. Okay. You define the field and they will recognize the field and they will do the work for you. But AI does work and fantastically they help you with the unstructured data. You just need to dump the data in the AI in any format what you have. And you just ask the AI to analyze the data and they will analyze and give it to you. So now there are a lot of tools in the market which will help CA community to improve their efficiency at least 5x, let me tell you. At least 5x you can improve your productivity by the use of AI. Okay. Anything you want, just go to any GPT model, write your question in the right manner and they will guide you how to do that. Okay. So all this unstructured data is helping the AI adoption significantly because the turnaround time is very less. Okay. Even if you need some model to be developed in the evening and you sit couple of hours since morning, you will be able to develop the AI model. And let me tell you, you do not need much technical knowledge. Okay. I was attending a seminar on the AI 3 weeks back. They shown us a ready-made tool, okay, which has already integrated 2,600 other software and ERP in the world. So you name it and they have already integrated it for you. So as a non-tech background person, whether you are from the finance, you are a CA, you do not need any technical knowledge to develop your own AI tool. You can just go and develop the tool. So that is the advantage of the unstructured data through AI. As we discussed, there is a huge pressure from the investor, from the stakeholders for the faster data processing. So this is the right time for the AI adoption. Okay, and advances in AI like natural language processing. You don't need coding. The way you order to your team member, in the same language you can ask GPT, give me this, and they will give you that. So this will increase the adoption very, very fast. And if you would have seen the news, 1 week back, GPT has announced a very special pricing for India. Okay, some 299 or 399 rupees only. Okay, so this will accelerate the adoption of AI much, much faster now. Okay, so what is an autonomous CFO office? As I discussed, everything is like a self-driving car. Okay, CFO, he will just walk into the office, and everything will be done, taken care by AI. Few are the examples which will be automated very soon. There are a lot of tools available in the market, like AI-driven transaction processing. It can be AP, it can be AR, it can be GL, reconciliation. Like our tool for the AP automation, we are telling we are saving 90% of the manual effort. Okay, you just need to send the invoice to the email ID. You will give your email ID to the vendor to send the invoice and just sit and relax. Vendor will send the invoice on the email and everything will be done by the AI, will come on your dashboard for approval. Once you approve, it will go into your ERP, whatever ERP you have. Okay. Similarly, there are a lot of tools for the AR, for the GL reconciliation. Every tool is available in the market. You just need to find the right tool and adopt it. Predictive cash flow analysis. Okay, scenario planning, risk alert, all these are doable now with the help of AI. Touchless compliances and continuous control. As I speak a couple of minutes back, the TDS, GST compliances, you don't have to wait for the month end. It will happen regularly and it will happen with 100% accuracy. Okay, no need to wait for anybody, any human to give you control for that. AI-powered decision support for the CFO. So these are the 4 factors which will drive the autonomous CFO office of the future, and it is must and it is coming. We cannot neglect it anymore. Real world example, invoice processing transformation, how it will happen. Okay, if you look at the traditional way, what currently most of the people are doing, okay, manual data entry, you will have a delayed approval. Invoice will keep floating on the emails of the approver. He will forget, he's traveling, then somebody has to remind him after 2 days and vendor payments get delayed. Then human errors. As I told, 70 to 80% only accuracy is there when your team is doing the accounting. Okay. Then incorrect GL code. And similarly, there are a lot of human errors. Okay. Sometimes duplicate invoice recording and all. Now, if you see how the AI is transforming this particular space of the AP, automated data extraction from the invoice through email or WhatsApp. Okay, you just email the invoice or WhatsApp the invoice and everything is taken care. Even your GL code for your company will be classified based on the AI. Okay, based on your historical data, AI will select with 100% accuracy, let me tell you, with 100% accuracy. Okay. Processing time reduced significantly. Okay. If, say, for example, particularly you have a multi-line item invoice, say 10 item, 20 item, 30 line item invoice, your team will take 30-40 minutes to punch an invoice. AI will do that job in fraction of a minute. Okay, with accuracy. Then workflow automation, it will automatically send the invoice for your approval as per your company approval metrics. Say you may have a approval metrics up to 1 lakh 1 person, more than 1 lakh 3 person. So AI will send to those people for approving the invoices. There is no chance of skipping the approval metrics and no headache of auditor coming back to you at the year end that this invoice is not properly approved. Okay. And then ERP integration, yes. Everything will happen automatically. Now, AI opportunity map, and this is valid for everybody, including CA in practice as well as the job. Okay. And these are the low-hanging fruits, okay? You do not have to wait for years, months to search for a tool, okay? Most of the tools, what I am presenting here is readily available in the market. You just need to go, find a tool and suggest your client. Many of you may not be in the finance function. You may be an auditor for your client. You may be a tax consultant for your client. Still, you should go and suggest. You need to be a champion for the client, okay? As I told, the largest revenue of Big Four comes not from audit and taxation, but from the technology consulting. Okay? So in the era of AI, you can become a technology consultant today. You do not have to think that I am not doing the accounting or I cannot do the accounting. You just need to suggest the client that yes, because the most of the time, if the small and medium sized clients, okay, you are dealing with, they are not aware about what is going in the technology market. So if you become their champion and improve their process, your relationship and your income with that client will significantly jump. Okay. So ARAP automation, you can suggest the client. GL coding, reconciliation automation, you can suggest your client. Fraud detection tools, predictive cash flow analysis tool, compliance monitoring tool, and financial forecasting, scenario modeling, financial statement preparation tool. In fact, our friend Ganesh has developed a fantastic tool on the financial statement preparation. They will automate your financial statement now. Okay. Currently, if your team is struggling with multiple versions, okay, you can just subscribe to the tool at a very, very reasonable cost and automate your financial statement. So some of the facts I wanted to present what is going on in the global stage on the AI adoption, and this is all published data so that you guys can understand that if you have not already adopted and learning AI, you are already far behind. The 65% of the global CFO is already prioritizing AI for efficiency gains, and these are all published report in the market. Organization adopting AI in finance report up to 70% reduction in the manual processing. Okay, and this is not a story. These are all based on the real data. Just think about that. In a scenario today, when we are struggling to find the good resource, okay, it takes months and weeks for our HR team to hire people who can do a job. In that, if any AI tool is telling you they will reduce your effort by 50%, 60%, 70%, and it comes with a fraction of the cost of the manual team members. And if you don't go for it, then your client will go from you, and that is for sure. AI-driven finance tools projected to contribute over 10 billion in revenues and cost saving over the next few years. Now let's look at what is the status of AI adoption in India. That is very, very important. We can talk about the globe, but when we talk about India, the adoption is still less. So let's look into this. So 73% of the large Indian enterprise plan to invest in AI for the finance automation within next 12 months itself. Large enterprise, they cannot wait anymore. They have a huge pressure from the investor, from the market to show what saving they are bringing through AI. But at the same time, the small enterprise or the medium enterprise, they are technically unaware. Okay, so it is our duty as a finance professional, as a CA in practice, to make them aware what all AI tools they can use and benefit from them, and they can accelerate the growth of their business. Okay, if your client's margin will improve, they will be able to invest money in the marketing and grow their business. And if their business grows, ultimately you guys will grow. 40 to 60% reduction in the invoice processing times. Okay, and this is the research report. What we are claiming is 90%. Okay, but yes, this is the research report that you can save up to 60% of the processing time and the manual effort for the invoice processing itself. India's AI market for enterprise finance expected to cross approximately $1 billion in the next 2 years itself. So that is going to be a huge market for the AI. So if as a CA in practice or in a job, if you are adopting AI and you are suggesting your clients, your company to move to AI tools, enhance the process, enhance the accuracy, you will be called the champions. Okay, even if you are in a job, your performance will be measured completely different if you are a AI implementation champion. Some of our clients talk to us that they are selling our product internally because you need an internal people to sell the product. Okay, so they have gone and sold to their management how implementing AI tool like us will benefit them and have a cost saving, and based on that they have got the promotion. Okay, so whether you are in practice or job does not matter. You need to learn and adopt AI. Definitely, there will be a lot of challenges, and as a CFO, as a CA in practice, we need to advise the client how to navigate these challenges. Okay, so the data quality and system fragmentation. So currently, even in the large enterprise, small enterprise does not matter. The data is in various sources. Okay, something will be in the Tally, something will be in the separate CRM, something will be in the Excel. So lot of data into lot of places. So data quality is an issue. If you do a garbage in, you will get garbage out only. So definitely there are a lot of tools have come to sanitize the data and consolidate the data at one place. So that will be helpful. But yes, this may be a barrier for effective implementation of the AI tools. Change management and workforce readiness. This is going to be a biggest challenge. Even we find this enterprise client, the people are averse to change. Okay, why? Because everybody has a fear that, and more particularly in the AI field, that if the organization will implement the AI, their job will go away. Definitely there will be some impact. I am not telling there will be no impact, but it will open up a lot of other opportunity as well, and it is non-negotiable. Okay, if you think that your client can still continue with the manual accounting and you are not suggesting them any automation tool, let me tell you, there is a high chance that they may disengage you because you are not adding any value to their process. Okay, so you have to think outside the box and suggest and help them to change management. See where the resources can reallocate, how to grow their business so that resources can be reallocated. Need for AI governance and auditability. This is going to be the biggest concern for the AI. Okay, as a CA in practice, we can become champion and suggest the client how can we improve their auditability within the AI environment. Definitely, we may have to learn the various tools, but this will be a game changer and this will be a new revenue line for the CA in practice. Balancing automation with control. So definitely a lot of automation can be done through AI, but you have to put checks and balances, and this is where your value addition will come to the client. At what point you have to do a checks and balances. I'll just give you an example, non-finance example. Okay, I have automated my LinkedIn account with AI. Okay, I do not need to do any posting. I have developed the tool. I am a finance guy, not a tech guy. I have developed the tool by myself. Okay, where I have given them only the high level highlight of the topic I want to post in the LinkedIn, and I have defined the strategy and the frequency. The tool is automatically going on a defined date, writing what post needs to be posted, verifying it through another tool. Okay, and I have just put a manual control. I'm giving an example of what control we can put. So instead of automatically posting, I don't know what they will post with my account. So I put a manual control that I will just read, verify and click verified. The moment I will click verify, it will go and post. So this is where as an CA, you have to play a bigger role with the organization, identify what controls they should put in place. And this will be a very, very big revenue generation tool, avenues for the CA in practice. So this is the building blocks for the autonomous CFO office, as I mentioned, AI-driven invoice processing and management, real-time validation, multi-layer approval, continuous compliances, predictive insight for cash flow working. All this will happen through AI. So the CFO office in future is going to be autonomous. There will be no much need of the manual activity, but yes, lot of controls we as a CA has to advise to our clients so that during our audit, it does not become a roadblocker. This is how the future autonomous CFO office will look like. 90% of the transactional finance will be touchless. Whether it's AP, AR, reconciliation, everything will go touchless. Okay. Real-time AI generated financial statement. As I told, we already have a couple of tools in the market. The adoption in the next 5 years, the adoption will increase at a very high speed. Okay, so final takeaway. Action point for the finance leaders. Start small. Do not wait for doing everything together. Okay. Identify in your client which all area you can help them automate, and automate critical pain points, which is taking a lot of manual effort and having a lot of error. Do not try to automate something which is not already broken. Okay, let it be there. You can take it up at the last. Upskill your team. That is important for the AI-enabled finance function. Okay, if your team is not upskilled, technically they will be outdated and organization will be removing them. So it is our responsibility to help our team to upskill themselves so that they are ready for the future. Partner with technology enabler focused on the AI for finance. Okay, you cannot do everything for yourself. Okay, even if you are a technology company, say we are a technology company, we cannot do everything ourselves. So we partner with a lot of other AI enabler companies to help the client automate end to end. Embrace AI or risk falling behind. This is very, very critical. Okay, if you want to move ahead, you want to be successful in tomorrow's time, you must adopt AI and must help your client implement AI, whether you are CA in practice, whether you are doing audit, taxation, consulting, accounting, does not matter. You must need to adopt AI and help your client to adopt AI. Okay, so that's it. So thank you very much guys for listening, and yeah, hand over to Ganesh. Yeah.
We now request CA Vinod Garg, Managing Committee Member, Bangalore Branch, to present a memento to CA Vikas Mandawewala, sir. I request CA Lakshmi Shah to provide a live plant to CA Ganesh Kumar, BN.
Good evening, everyone. I know I have the last and hard job. Being through 2 days of sessions on back-to-back technical ones on GST, income tax, and lastly now on the AI side. So firstly, thank you Bangalore branch and the SIRC for enabling this to happen and making this possible. Every time I have been on the stage in Bangalore, I've been told, Ganesh, you talk a lot of disruptive things, you scare many people, you tell profession is in this mode, all such things. So I thought this time I can make something more interesting. Generally, yesterday I was telling the Bangalore branch chairman that generally Ganesh comes at the beginning, the Ganapati Prarthana, but this time I'm doing at the last. So I thought, how about making it something more very interesting for all of you in terms of showcasing something innovative. Again, I don't know how much of technology can support me today because I'm trying to do something very interesting. Let me see how much best that I can bring it up. So what exactly this whole interaction is about? You have heard everyone talking about AI, it is disrupting, the technology is taking the shape and all of these. Yes, there is no second thought about it, and there is so much of buzz that is going across. Now, with all of those buzz, where is the whole endpoint reaching towards? Okay, I see there is only one word that goes whenever we talk of the buzz, that is data. Okay, everyone that is looking across, everywhere that you see, the word data is the one which is sounding, and Vikas ji was also mentioning on the chat GPT reducing its prices, so many things. Why are they all doing, right? So simple reason is that they want more and more localization data. Every corporation here is for a $1 billion or $1 trillion business. So what all the corporations have seen, I know it's going to be a challenge now. What all the corporations have seen across, okay, great, thanks. So what all corporations have seen across is how can we get more and more data, and how can we make it more trainable, and how can we get more leverage in terms of the training and the modeling and all of those. So if you see at our CA officers level, today prima facie, let's say the Gemini's, Claudes, or any of the chat GPTs, why have they left it many a times for free? Predominantly for it to learn more and more. Okay. Now, while it is excessively used, in our profession, we deal with something which is more sensitive many a times than doctors deal with. That is financial information. Now, the biggest question that comes up, it could be a notice that I've received from income tax or a GST audit notice that comes up. I need a response. What is now happening today is that we simply, I'm not generalizing, but in a regular parlance, you need a quick response, put that onto the GPT, get an immediate response out of it, make some tweaks, take it back. Yes, our purpose is getting served. There is no second thought about it. But where is the concept of privacy? I don't know if you have seen a recent data leakage out of OpenAI. If any of you are using the public share option that is out there on the chat GPTs. Now, let's say if you are using, there is also an option to use the chats and make them public. Many a times what we assume is these chats are, the links of these chats are just circulated amongst my personal circles or inner circles, and it's not going to be accessible by the people at large. But what is happening is these are public URLs, and today many people are able to access your data if you have accidentally clicked on any of the privacy norms that are not included across. Or let's say, for example, if you have not switched off submitting the data out of ChatGPT, again, I would urge many of you to go back to your GPTs and look at the settings. So there is a specific option which tells, do you want to submit the data for data modeling and training, right? I see at least about 70-80% of the folks are simply using that. That means all our data is going back. It's accumulating. We don't know when it's going to happen. So I thought, why do we not talk something on the lines of building our own private GPT? Okay, is it possible? So what exactly we mean by a private GPT? A private GPT is something which can run on your own systems, does not require any internet, does not require any cloud. It runs on your local machine and it is fully private. Is that something possible? So I was on this, using the Llama models and the Mistrals of the world. Fortunately, recently, I don't know, there had been a huge buzz, and GPT also has come out with the OSS model, which also enables you to run on local machines. But of course, that requires a higher GPU of more than 70, because it's a 70 billion parameter model that is out there. So how can we build was the overall context. So what is the advantage and why should it matter for us is mainly because it remains private. As simple as that. I don't think so we need to talk more about it. So then how do we differentiate? So we are all talking today on the lines of going to a browser and using the GPT, Claudes, Geminis and all of these. On the other hand, today I'm interested to showcase something without any of these. Okay, so I'm specifically put on my systems to show that it's not connected to Wi-Fi. Okay, it's completely out. It's not connected to Wi-Fi. And how do we run? There are different ways how we can use on these. It's as simple as running your Excel sheets. If you can run your Excel sheets, I meant to say it's that simpler. You don't need to learn coding or any of those large, developer approaches that are required across. These are open source models that are out there, and you can access all of them freely. Of course, there is only one compulsion that is there. That is, you need to have a good infra or a good system that is out there. Minimum of about 16 GB RAM or a 32 GB RAM is a decent one. In fact, today I'm just running on an 8 GB RAM to showcase something very low end modern, or rather, I'm putting out an Llama 8 billion parameter model and trying to showcase. It's going to be probably a small lag out there, but still tending to show that out. There are different ways. I'm trying to take today a very simpler approach. I've listed out different types on using the Lang chains or the Python codes or using the Ollama, all of those. So, but I'm taking a simplest approach of the LM Studio, which is again an application which runs on your machine. So, 4 simple steps to do it. Download, there is an LM Studio that is, again, this is an open source application. So when I think you all understand on the Creative Commons, Zero and open source models. So these are the models which do not have any commercial licenses and you can download them freely. So you can go to lmstudio.ai and you can download the whole interface by itself. It generally is about 600, 700 MB that sits on your machine. Once you're done, so that downloads purely the application. So that means it's just a box that comes out. Or probably if I have to say, it's just the skeleton and the flesh and bones that comes out. Next is a simpler approach of downloading the models. So model is primarily the brain that sits behind. Okay, so there are different models. If you just go to the LM Studio or let's say Hugging Face, any of these, you will find tons and thousands of models that are out there. For simplicity and for ease for all of us to understand, especially for the chartered accountants, I've broken down and I've froze on a model which is Llama 3, which is a generation 3 Llama model, and it has an instruction capability and an 8 billion parameter one. And it is also quantized and it is available. It generally takes about 4 to 5 GB. Today I put it out and it took close to about 30 minutes for a decent time to download the model. So once the model is downloaded, I'm done and I've switched it off. It is completely on my local machine. So this is how you will see the moment you get, it generally asks you, because it comes with a Quen 8B model, generally it comes. I would suggest you can skip this because I want you to download the specific one on the Llama out there. Okay, Llama is the one which is built by Meta, that is Facebook, and it's an open source model that is available. Now, once you're done, your setup is completed. Okay, so this is how it looks. Now, I have downloaded here. So, as you are seeing, it is switched off. There's no internet available fully out here. And while Acharya sir was talking across, I uploaded the latest Income Tax Act onto this. Interesting 269 SS, section 185, all of those, whatever he was speaking across, I thought it was interesting to showcase how it runs. Okay. Now what I've done, as I told, this is a simple interface that you are seeing here. Okay. Again, I'm reiterating, it's not on internet, not on cloud, it runs on your local machine. So as I did two fundamental steps, downloaded the interface. Second, I downloaded the model. There are tons of models. Please be specific on what model. This is the simplest and chartered accountant friendly. So why do I say chartered accountant friendly? Because I'll talk about what all it can do, what all it cannot do. There are certain limitations. Say for example, you want to give a voice instructions to it. Probably not, it doesn't do it. Or you want to upload a video and ask it to do an edit. Probably it will not do it. Because this model is specific to certain capabilities that it has. Now, having understood the requirements of, let's say we want to do summarization, we want to do drafting, we want to do querying, we want to do knowledge uploads, all of these are requirements. So based on this, the Llama 8B1 is more favorable to you to take into consideration. So you will see here, example, when you go, it shows multiple models out there. What you do is simply download the existing model and load the model. Now I've loaded the model already there. Now, I don't want you to confuse with any of these developer things and everything. It's a simple chat that I've loaded in, and I now have a regular approach of talking to it. So here is the one which I did. You can even upload the files here. You can build in, again, all these files, whatever you're putting, it is still sitting on your own machine. It's not going anywhere. Why am I stressing on this privacy? Because let's say there is an SOP that is completely confidentially built and it does not have to be showcased outside, and you are doing an audit on it. Now, probably let's assume it's a 200-page manual that is required. Now, how can I fasten my overall process? How can I summarize these? Again, as I said, not putting onto it, I can come back, build it on your regular approaches of creating new and new. So here I have taken a small SOP of an organization and I have put this out. Let's say I'll showcase. So this is a small SOP that I have taken. Now what I do, I have uploaded in a regular fashion and I started asking for its regular summarization. Let's say I have a requirement now. I've got here, how does LTC reimbursements of employees happen? So how does LTC it runs, takes time for you to go through the whole stuff that is out there. Now the cost of these private models is time. Okay, if you're running on the likes of ChatGPT, you'll probably get in probably a couple of microseconds. Here it takes little time for the reason, one is your infra, that is your machine that is out there, and second, it also comes with the RAM capabilities and all of these. So that makes a little slower, but your data is safe. Now whatever you're seeing, I just asked it for how can I get my reimbursements happen. So it is talking about, based on the SOP, it is doing a summarization activity. Needless to say, what all you can do with GPT, but I'm just showcasing for the reasons that how privately you can run these. Again, these are not, $10,000 or $20,000 machines, so these are probably simple machines on which you can still run and keep your data safe. Okay, I'm just going to do a small cross verification, whatever it's talking across. Because hallucinations are one of the primary concern in any of the AI models that are out there. It's not letting me to work because I'm seeing here almost my 200% of my CPU is getting used by this. Okay, so this is the actual process. It talks about receipt of claims, it processes, scrutinizes, send it for audit. It takes close to about total cycle. Has it come out on the same lines? It says on the same line, employee submits their LTC. You're actually seeing a little more summarization and detailing here. So here the SOP was very, very blunt in its statement. It did not talk too much. It just said receipt of LTC claim complete in all respects. That's it. But here it is talking of submitting LTC claim to the organization, including. So it's doing a detailing of all of those. Now, one of the common questions that happens to ask is, Ganesh, how does all of these things work without an internet? I mean, do they all require every time to go and search in the internet and always bring? The answer is no. That's how the models are built. Models are like the brain. The moment I learn something, let's say I'm reading a book out of it, after the book is read, I don't need the book anymore. Right? It's already embedded onto my brain. So in the same logics, once the models have a decent understanding of the data sets that are already there, including, because you will see close to about billions of parameters and weights and features that are already loaded, it has a huge amount of learning that is already onto it, and that enables to a larger extent the requirements for you. Now, I was showcasing to you, you can write emails as you generally do. There are limitations. I'll come back to the limitations lastly. I just wrote a small one while Acharya sir was talking across 185. I asked about, here is a raw section of 185. In fact, I wanted to do the old act to be uploaded and show 269 SS and compare. For the paucity of time, I didn't do it. So I was just asking all of these on, what is a tax here that is there? 185, if I were to write an email to my client asking what to do with. All of these are sitting offline. Now, while the demo was largely to showcase how it can run offline, but how can we adopt into our organization? So that's the next take that I want to talk across. We have tons of data that is sitting in each of our organizations. It could be our audit manuals, SOPs, our audit reports, our vouching observations that I've gone through. All of these items are already there in our repositories in each of our organizations. What we need to do is build a small infra inside our office and make them using, let's say, a simple RDP, remote desktop services. You can simply use them and load them onto a machine and make all of your, let's say, articles, staff members, everyone use that alone instead of using out. Now, with this, what you also can do is you can have a control over things as to what is exposed and what is not exposed. Now, a small quick one as I showcased. I'll go back to my area. I finished. Lastly, I'm coming on what all you can do. You can talk, you can query, you can upload documents, you can do all of these, do briefs, summaries out there. It doesn't mean that it's just restricted to it. Even if you're doing a decent amount of coding, you can definitely use the local models to do it. In fact, I've been talking with my development team to avoid the online models and not expose or run the cursors and the clots and all of these. Probably they are also thinking in this audience section, how can we do something on the local levels? And lastly, drafting, of course, is available. That's it on my side to showcase how we can make it more private and more reliable to us than anything out. Hope this makes some impact on all of our data privatization, and we should not see some sudden inquiries coming from our clients asking, hey, how come my bank statement is out there in the public already? Thank you. Thanks for all your time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, CA Ganesh Kumar, sir. We now request CA Raghavendra to present a memento to CA Ganesh Kumar, BN.